Yes, indeed. That was our
Take us there,
warm-up.
CJ.
And welcome to the Something Random podcast, where sometimes we talk about movies, sometimes we talk about television, but we always talk about something random. I'm your host, Charles Joseph Kelly.
And I am another host, Michael C. Macbeth.
I'm your Coco host, Scotty Schaefer.
Welcome to the show. This is Joel. Back at it again. That's it. Quit staring at me.
I'm not laughing this time. It's not funny anymore. And with us this week, we have a Nick 2.0.
Yeah.
We have Nick Stokes here with us this week.
Lesser Nick.
I think
Stokes.
from here on out, we can only have guests that are named Nick.
Or who agree to change their name to Nick.
And
Yeah.
well, we need more female guests, so we can go with Nikki as well.
That's my best friend's
Nicole.
name.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
Nicole.
That's
yeah.
what I was thinking. Is everybody you have on from now on just has to be Nick.
Yep.
Regardless of what their names are, you just call them Nick.
Yeah, fair,
So,
fair.
Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, first off,
What
thank you
you do?
guys for having me on.
Yeah, dude.
This is really awesome. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Grew up in a place called Mobile, which is about as far south as you can go without getting wet. But yeah, I went to college. I'm an actor, a musician. I'm here in town for a production at Midtown Arts Center called Once the Musical,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
which is a ton of fun. And we'll talk about that later if you want to.
Yes, please.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I play guitar. I am a nerd. I watch movies, TVs, play video games, Dungeons and Dragons, that whole thing. So
You're going to fit right in.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was
I was
is your
gonna
ego-
I was gonna be super excited about talking about D&D for a while because we're running a campaign, but it's been like 2 months since we've played, and we need to get back to that, Michael.
You're the DM, man.
I know. I just need to schedule it. It's all written. Like everything's good to go for you guys.
You
but-
probably just need to invite more cool friends.
or maybe just like
I
not
guess his
invite the people that.
invitation just got lost in the mail.
I
huh?
think it got lost.
You took my line.
Oh. Yeah.
You didn't raise your hand or reach the
Oh yeah,
crunch.
That's because I'm not into
He's
D&D.
got the. I've totally done that to CJ before, where it's like, he didn't. He was like, no one's going with me.
CJ?
Oh yeah, sorry, Charles.
Charles Joseph.
Where
Charles Joseph.
Yep.
he says no one's going to this concert with me. It's like, you didn't ask me. He said, oh, do you want to go to the concert? No, I have plans.
I can't.
But it's nice to be asked, you know.
Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about Once?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, Once is it's a musical set in Dublin, Ireland. I play a guy named Billy, who's kind of a supporting co-star. I guess we're all kind of co-stars next to the main guy and girl. That's their names are guy and girl. They're not named characters. But the story follows the guy who is a musician, and he's playing his own music on the streets of Ireland when this girl finds him and is convinced that it's so good and so honest that it has to be heard. And so she kind of convinces him to come out of the life that he's given up on his music and his career as a musician to convince him to make an album and move to New York to find this girl that he's used to be in love with, and she left. And that's kind of the whole story. And then my character, Billy, he lives in Dublin. He's an Irishman, and so there's a lot of Irish accents and dialects going on. But he runs the music shop where the girl comes in and plays piano all the time, and that's kind of how he meets the guy and gets involved in making the music with him and everything like that. And it's a really great, beautiful, touching story. All the soundtrack in it is kind of Irish folk music done on guitars. Oh, that's the cool part is we all play our own instruments.
Right, there's no pit, right?
Yeah, there
All
is
the
no
musicians
orchestra
are on stage.
And so
The actors
coolest-
are the musicians.
Yeah, the coolest part about probably the whole show is that when you're getting this music that is not necessarily Broadway style music, rather singer-songwriter acoustic stuff, it's played by everybody. You know, I play guitar, I play cajon and tambourine and everything in the show.
Cajon is that box drum thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so but there are people that we got guys that do the cello, the bass, the mandolin, the guitar, like all sorts of different instruments and everything. like that.
Whenever I see shows like that, those shows are the better shows that I've seen before. I love seeing actors play like actual music. You don't see that very often.
It's always so impressive.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed by that.
There's a
Speaking of
certain-
impressive, I'm sorry, but you guys actually dance while you play those instruments too, don't you?
Yeah, well, the choreography is not super gritty. I mean, it's not like the Nutcracker or anything, but yeah, we,
That's the bar.
we move around. I'd say I wouldn't call it dancing, but,
But I mean, even
move
moving
around.
with a cello's got to be
Yeah,
like
it is.
something to
Yes,
see.
it is. But it's really interesting because there's a certain identity I think that comes with everybody's instruments. When especially in a show like that, when you see somebody playing and acting on stage with a particular thing, and then moving that identity around between other characters and castmates to play a different instrument or a different part or assume a different identity within the show. It's just a really interesting way of telling the story about. Honestly, that's about music. It's not really about anything objective in the story, but it's just about how music moves people and connects people and that whole thing. And, I think it's really cool. Bring it back to, there being no orchestra.
And the show is pretty new, isn't it? It's only a few years old, isn't that right?
It's based off of a movie, right?
Yeah, well, the movie came out in I should know this. 2007.
Yeah, it's
With
okay.
Glenn Hansard and Marketa Irglova, and they were the first guy and girl. And Glenn Hansard wrote pretty much all the music. The musical came out, I think, in 2013, and they incorporated Glenn Hansard and Marketa from the original movie to make all the music for the show. And it ran on Broadway, won Best Musical,
Right, yeah.
Tony, I think, that year. And the rights just got released. It's been on tour for a little while, and the rights just got released regionally, and so that's why.
nice.
Midtown, I believe, is ahead of the game. They don't really get released publicly until the first of the year.
Yeah, Midtown
they
likes
usually
to get
jump
those
on that.
shows. Midtown likes to get those shows that are new.
But they are, it's but it's running, like you said, till November 11th at Midtown Arts Center, and I love it, man. It's the best part about being here.
So go check that show out.
I'm going. My show closes this weekend, so I get a whole spare weekend to go see your guys' show. I'm going to go
Awesome.
Heck yeah. Awesome. So what else have we been watching this week, guys? I know there's one big thing that came out this week.
see it. Commercials. Wait, what were you going to say?
I was going to say Stranger Things, but...
Stranger Things.
yeah.
Oh, you should watch Stranger Things Season 2, because that's out now.
Stranger Things?
Stranger Things. Actually, I think it's Stranger Thingser. That can't be right.
No.
That can't be right.
So the finale season is going to be called Strangest Things, right? We're going to go with the superlative.
Stranger Things. Well, if the first one was called Strange Things, then I could see Stranger Things and then Stranger
No,
Things.
that's the prequel.
Oh my
But then,
god.
but then
Yeah,
you go,
yeah.
you go. These are the more strange things, and then
The more
let's
stranger
read
things.
The more strange things. The most strange.
So
things
what'd you guys
we
think of the show?
like.
I'm going to follow Joel's lead and tell you what I thought of the show.
Well, because we're going to be talking about Stranger Things for a while. Let's do what we've been watching, except for Stranger Things.
I watched an episode or two of Rick and Morty just to get back into it because I went as Morty for a Halloween party. No, I didn't. I went as Rick for a Halloween party just last night, and it was so fun.
Michael.
Michael,
Oh, I was just saying that I went to a Halloween party as Stuart from Mad TV.
look what I can do.
Okay.
I did that quite a bit.
So
and yes,
now here's the question.
I am going to answer your question.
And you know
I
what the
did
question-
wear the tidy whities.
That's not my question.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
My question is,
Where the
did
rest of
your-
us were thinking it.
Did your girlfriend go as the mom?
Yep.
Oh,
She was thinking about
We got Oedipal.
no.
she was
No.
thinking
Michael?
about going as Lorraine, just a different Mad TV character.
That would have been better.
There was so little time.
I
so.
know, but
Well,
that's so like,
however, if you could
I
name
think it's
couples
great.
who are not gonna just go to do makeout sessions in the middle of a party, I'm pretty sure you guys are at the top of the list of who would not do that.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
It's,
So
it's safe. It's fair. It's good.
that's
to do
true.
That.
That's true. It just still makes it's still like a little cringy to say, "Hey,
But-
mommy."
but honestly, can you say that those two characters are not that way?
Oh,
That's a correct.
How old is Stuart? Did they ever discuss how old he actually was?
I think he's like 94.
Yeah, that's about right.
There it is. Yep. Yep. I caught up on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Loving it.
I watched the second episode. I haven't watched the third one yet.
Ooh,
You're
yeah.
ahead of me.
Wow.
What is that? Is that on like syndicated television?
Yeah,
or
it's
is it
on
It is.
CW.
Yeah. So
Oh,
this.
okay, I don't have cable, so because I've heard people talk about it. It's-
So if you were to, within the next week and a half, binge seasons 1 and 2 on Netflix, you could catch up on the CW app because
So
they keep 4 episodes.
It is on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons
Cool.
are on Netflix,
Yeah,
and
one
it's
and two, yeah.
great.
Yeah, I streaming services. That's how I work.
Yeah.
Mhm, me
Amazon,
Absolutely.
Hulu, Netflix. You know.
TV cable is for suckers.
So,
It is.
Michael,
How's your newspapers?
how did you like the song that I told you that you would like?
I was I was pleased. Unlike the character in question.
So
I don't know what we're talking
okay,
about. What's it called?
there's a empty chairs at empty tables. Les Mis parody.
It's
Okay.
almost note for note
Like
too.
note for note.
They toe the line.
Yeah. So and it's all about him finding out that his wife uses a vibrator. And it's all about like him like thinking that it was a toothbrush and just like making the realization that it's not an electric toothbrush.
She
It's
really loves that
definite-
toothbrush.
It's definitely a vibrator, and it's like all just like his angst and anxiety about his wife using a vibrator. It's
Yep.
great.
Yep. So that was great. I also caught up on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which if you haven't, it's amazing.
Andy Samberg.
Because every Halloween, as you may know if you watch the show, they do a heist.
I've heard good things about the heist episode.
The
this
heist
year.
episode was marvelous. This is not a spoiler, but I will say that Cheddar is involved.
The corgi.
The when you say they do a heist, you mean the bad guys do a heist, or
No,
the cops themselves?
The cops like plan a heist, and they have to like they have like an award where they have to like say like some specific thing every year. And
it's like a training thing, or like they're literally training.
No, it's just for fun.
it's just for funsies. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what's so much fun about it is that Captain Hulk gets incredibly into it, and he's this very emotionless, slightly deadpan type character. And so every Halloween, you see him completely break out of his shell and be this maniacal person. It's amazing.
And they all try to steal something in the office. There's like
Oh,
one
so it's
specific
not like a
item.
bank heist or anything.
No, but
Nuts.
yeah, I know that would be like the last season thing where they're like, we're actually gonna pull off a heist. We're gonna steal a bunch of money.
Right.
Joel.
I watched a movie called Behind the Mask.
Yes.
Oh yes.
This was our guest from last week, Nick, loaned me this movie, and you guys have got to watch this. It is one of the coolest freaking movies I've ever seen. It's a mockumentary. Okay, so if you put yourself in a world where Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Michael Myers are real people, they're actually
Like serial
supernatural killers that can't die or that don't die easily. If you put yourself in a world where those are real things, think of them making a documentary following the guy that's
Wanting
training
to
to
be
be the next
one?
killer, or is in making his own.
But do they actually go out and say, "Oh, Freddy Krueger"?
Oh yes,
my
they're
buddy.
they're like, well, not like my buddy, but they're real people. They talk about him, and
Like imagine reading newspaper articles about that.
right.
stuff
And
really
there's
happening.
it's funny because he does things like he first he zeroes in on the girl, the survival girl, and he like makes a fake newspaper clipping and leaves it where she'll find it about her uncle that killed people, her great uncle or whatever, and all this stuff. And it's got a couple of classic horror film
Like
actors
tropes.
in it.
Yeah.
Robert Englund's in it, Zelda Rubinstein, and Kane
nice.
Hodder's in it for 2 seconds. But it's a really cool movie. You got to check out Behind the Mask. I think it's called The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Is the
Yes.
full title.
So is this more of a comedy or
It
a horror?
starts that way, but
Turns
it
into a horror?
doesn't really end that way. So I'll just say that.
Kind of like Cabin in the Woods.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those, but it's
Yeah, it sounds like right up my alley, man.
It's
I love
it's
movies
so
like
freaking
that.
great. If you guys, it's Nick's, so I don't know if I can loan it to you. He'd probably be okay if I loaned it to you, but
Well, maybe if you still have it, we can just do like a pop some popcorn and we all watch
You
a movie
know.
together, which never happens.
but it's a great movie, so check that
Ew.
out. I wanted to say a couple things I've never mentioned before.
Sure.
The Baroness von Sketch Show. Anybody watch this?
No, I've
It's
never
on
heard of it.
it's on IFC. It's a female comedy troupe.
Yay.
And they are freaking hilarious. This is some of the funniest stuff I've seen on TV lately.
Sweet.
IFC Wednesday nights, Baroness von Sketch Show. Check it out.
Baroness von Sketch.
You might
Show,
be able to,
free
you might be able to YouTube it too if you don't have IFC. And then Better Things. Anybody seen that one?
Better
it's
Things?
not. It has nothing to do with Stranger Things.
You ruined my joke that I said.
No, it's
On your Facebook. It was
this
funny.
is one of the best shows I've seen on TV in a long time. If you're familiar with Louis C.K., Pamela Aldwin, or
Oh, yeah, it's the new
Aldwin
Louis
is-
C.K. show, yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
she's been with him in Lucky Louie and Louie.
Yeah,
Both
She
those
was
shows.
she was also in Californication forever.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
you'd recognize her if you saw her.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah. She's
the main
very
character of the
talented.
show. Louis C.K. I think directs it. I don't know, or produces it. I don't know if he directs or writes. I think it's kind of a team. They
Right.
trade off and do stuff. And I just think it's great. It's real. It's one of those shows that's real.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got a handful of things. First off, Netflix Mindhunter.
start that. Gotta
number
start it.
one on my
Okay.
list.
No, I still haven't watched it yet. I had a lot of
It's
shit
so
going on
good,
this week.
and I was like talking about it on the podcast with the psychologist, and they just shit all over my dreams.
Really?
Yeah, they're like none of it's like. Well, they were just like explaining it, and like as they should have. They're like, it's probably a good show, but a lot of the things that happened are probably not true necessarily.
Oh,
because they'll
obviously.
talk about like the ones that really worked, but not all the people that they talked to that
Well,
didn't actually help.
And the good caveat for that show is it takes place in 1977, I think.
yeah, something
You know,
late
and
70s.
so it was the cool part about it is that it's the beginning of incorporating criminal psychology into the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Just after Charles Manson. So it's this kind of idea that the badges and the all the feds think that they're just kooks. They don't need to study them or anything, which I think is probably a little backhanded for the show.
Oh, yeah.
But it is, in the 70s. And so it's kind of implementing that first idea of if we study people, if we talk to them, if we learn, what their minds are like and the way that they get off on certain things or don't get off on certain things, how do they choose? We might be able to implement that into other cases and not have 19 people dead in a house somewhere. But honestly, I think the acting in it is absolutely
The guy who plays Ed
phenomenal.
Kemper is
And that's what
crazy.
Yes,
He's
the
so-
psychopaths,
yeah.
and the guy that does Jerry Brudos is ridiculously frightening.
Yeah.
Because the guys that they get are these, like Ed Kemper. Me and a guy were talking about this. It was like 6'7" or something like that.
Yeah,
6'6".
huge dude.
But he's like so calm, like talking to a little kid, And
Well, it's the same
something-
thing. It's the same thing with actual Ed Kemper. There was an article that was posted the last week or so about how like a majority of the books that were like the audiobooks that were done back in the late 70s were done by Ed Kemper, the serial killer.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
really?
if you're listening to audiobooks back then, you're probably listening to Ed Kemper.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was kind
But
of.
yeah, check it out. I don't want to ruin anything.
Have you finished it?
Yes, I did like 2 days.
Yeah, it was
I watched the whole
quick.
thing.
How many episodes?
I think it's
are
only
there?
like 8 episodes.
Oh,
It's
see,
quick,
that's good.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of the things we're going to try and talk about on this show because sometimes people are like, "How do you watch all this TV?" And I think some of them seem so daunting, but we're like, "It's only 8 episodes, maybe 45 minutes."
Well, also
of
the thing that I
really
love
knock
too
them out.
about that show is it's kind of perfect for the Netflix original, which there's no pilot, and I love the
Yeah.
fact
Yeah.
that there is no pilot. The
They
first
could risk it,
season
just
is
jump
kind
right
of
in.
like the pilot episode.
I did like for this show. There's a lot of criticism with a lot of the Netflix shows being more like long form movies, and I like that concept. I liked this show because it was still a little. It was serialized, but it had like beginning and ends to episodes. So they'll like go off and like start a case, right? And they'll spend an episode working on this case, and then they'll hit a point and then go to a different case and then jump back another episode later on to finish that case because they learned more information from another serial
Yeah,
killer.
yeah. Well, it's one of those. Yeah, I just exactly what you said.
So it's like
fantastic.
SVU, but a little more drawn out, and it's good. Yeah.
I totally agree that that TV in the style of a long form movie makes so much sense. And if we had this medium of Netflix and that style years ago, when Harry Potter, we talked about that, Lord of the Rings, any of the epic book series that you can think of that have been turned into movies, they should have been turned into a series.
The Golden Compass is going to be a BBC series that they're
really?
releasing.
Ooh,
next
awesome.
year.
That might actually be better. Yeah.
Didn't they do that with what's it called, Lemony Snicket?
Yeah,
They did.
Oh my
yes,
god, yes,
they-
Lemony Snicket's on Netflix. We haven't talked about it. You really got to watch it. It's so good.
It is phenomenal.
It's so good.
It made me read all the books in preparation for
season 2.
the next season, and I have very few complaints. I mean, they do gloss over quite a few things, of course, but you have to. It's a different medium. But no, I think they did
But
excellent.
that goes back into the whole. That show is 2-hour movies for each book, and that's the whole premise. Is they did 4 movies. That's what they did. So
Yeah.
But it's so good. I mean, admittedly, part of it is a vehicle for Neil Patrick Harris, just because he's playing such a strange, like a involved character, where it's like, oh, I mean, I'm sure he's going to be up for some kind of award or something for that.
Well, and also that character too portrays so many other different. Within the confines.
Of
the
course,
stories.
yes,
So I remember being a kid and reading all those books, and the Count Olaf character is like he dresses up and does accents and voices and everything, and so to be the guy in all those different kind of vaudevillian almost
Yes.
characters is pretty
Yes.
spectacular, I think.
And Patrick Warburton as the narrator. Oh, God,
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
And
Oh, yeah.
I dare say, too, Neil Patrick Harris actually portrays the character much better than Jim Carrey did. Even if they had made a series with Jim Carrey, I don't think it would have been the same.
Well, it's also because Jim Carrey does Jim Carrey. He does his own thing.
Here's something that I'll give Jim Carrey that a lot of people don't mention is that he doesn't need to work right now. He hasn't needed to work for a long time. So one time in an interview, I heard him say one time, people were like, so what do you do now? And he said, polishes turds, which means that even though he doesn't have to do these things, he does do stuff for fun. He does also, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I mean as an actor, he'll do what he's told. So
How
like,
depressing that must be. I mean, to be on one hand, yes, you're very successful and you have millions of dollars and you just sit back and do nothing and still live your life because you're getting residual checks and all these things from Netflix. But at the same time, like nobody ever wants Jim Carrey to act. They want him to be the Mask, and so nobody
Yeah.
ever
Right.
comes for anything.
speaking of which, though, if you haven't seen the number 23, I really recommend that you do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so some stuff he does is really, really good, and I actually really like him, despite going crazy on, not going crazy, but just going a little bit beyond.
He's
I'm
getting a
not
little
real
out of
person.
control lately. I wanted to say, he was on Norm Macdonald's podcast a few
Oh, yeah.
weeks ago, and it was one of the first episodes I almost didn't finish because he was just being annoying. You're on a show to be interviewed. Can you please answer?
Do you
some
think?
questions?
Do you think it's a shtick? Do you think that
It's
he's,
totally a shtick, and
I don't know.
I think that's what makes it annoying. Is it's kind of that Joaquin Phoenix thing.
it's like,
You
dude,
know what I mean?
okay, we get it. You're doing a thing. Can
Yeah.
you please just?
I loved like when the whole Joaquin Phoenix thing was going around and everybody's like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix went crazy, and they were like, no, it's just a fake documentary like that he was making. That was great. I love
Oh, yeah,
that. That was
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I called it. I mean,
I don't know.
But it doesn't take away from the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
And there's a certain, I mean, like Fantastic Do Your Art. It's like that Shia LaBeouf stuff that's going on, I guess, right now.
Yeah,
do
still
your
for
thing,
the next
man.
30 years.
Actual
like-
cannibal Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah. Normal Tuesday night for Shia LaBeouf.
I don't know. I think that of all people in comedy to be like, that's a good idea, I'm going to emulate that. To look at Andy Kaufman and what he did with wrestling and all the other stuff like that, which I think ruined him.
Mm-hmm.
To look at that and say, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, like, that's, I think, the worst example ever.
Well,
To
it's
be,
just not
like-
only that, but it's been done before, Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
it's
I,
like,
mean,
dude,
I mean, for everybody, like,
you're not.
if
You're
you
not,
want to do that stuff, you have to be a character. Never sully your own name. Never put your own money in a show. But there are rules about show business that people should not be thrown to the wayside.
Yeah.
It's about
Well,
like
that's also
yeah.
to play devil's advocate. That's also rational thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy Kaufman and people like Jim Carrey, their genius comes from irrational thinking.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a certain beauty that has to be given to going down in flames. If you're willing to put
Yes,
yourself there
yes.
and you're going down,
Heath Ledger style?
do it, man.
In 20 years, when we've been doing this podcast for 20 years, are we going to be talking about Jim Carrey the same way once he's passed on? Do you guys think so?
Yeah, I guess here's what I mean.
Because I don't
from a-
disagree with you especially about
Yeah.
Andy Kaufman.
Because everybody thinks Andy Kaufman now was a
you know,
genius for what he was doing, but
I
everybody thinks
absolutely think he's a
pain in the
genius.
ass.
I have
I think-
the picture of him.
I
in
think
my
that he
house.
was
I mean,
fully aware of what he was doing and what repercussions would have been coming. I just don't think he cared at all.
No, he wasn't trying to impress people. He
Yeah.
wasn't trying to even really make a career.
Yeah.
He was trying to do something different.
Different, absolutely. Go down in flames.
and there's just like these life decisions to be like, oh yeah, part of me absolutely wants to go down that road. The other part of me is kind of admittedly desperate for social interaction. And you almost have to choose because you can't have them both. You can't have your cake and eat it too, unless you know how
So,
to bake cakes.
talking about needing some social interaction, Joel, I'm going to let you take off this next bit because I think you need yours with
Dance Moms Watch.
Welcome to
That's
Dance Moms
right.
Watch.
We have a Dance Moms Watch for you this week.
Did you like that segue? Because I was like, oh, this is...
Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Bravo.
Thank you.
Um,
No clapping.
ladies and gentlemen, I have some unfortunate news. This is going to be the last edition of Dance Moms Watch.
Why?
What?
Yes.
Did they cancel the show?
No, it doesn't. It didn't get canceled. It's just ended. It was the end of the show, and so that's why they had a huge 2-hour special followed by 2 more hours of interview specials. So
Interesting.
Okay.
The
no,
show
I
has
didn't
ended.
realize that this is... the final Dance Moms
I have
watch.
like palpitations right now.
I know. You should have prepared us for this. This is our bits.
Did you know this was coming?
I actually didn't. And they didn't say the show's over, the show's ending, but you could just tell by watching this last episode.
Do you think they're
Interesting.
gonna do a Dance Moms with anybody else?
Abby will not come back. She has released statements that she's not returning. She disassociated with herself with Dance Moms. The interview she did this past week that aired, she did it before she went to prison, was the last thing that will have anything to do with Dance Moms. So she's finished. So if they do another Dance Moms, it's going to be another coach
And another group of dancers.
and probably another group of dancers, because the dancers they have now that are the girls that everybody knows, they're 14 and 15 years old. They're kind of old and for kid dancers. Plus, they're touring the United States.
Better say I'm way past my prime.
Well, I mean, as far as what the show was based on, which is child dancers.
Yeah.
So
Kind of like a toddlers and tiaras.
if it rehatches with the new cast and stuff, I'll try it. But I don't think it's ever going to be
The same.
well,
quite
bring
the
us
way
up
it
to
was.
speed. You got like 2 hours of this, 4 hours.
So, so there was 4 hours of Dance Moms to watch this week, which is why I didn't want to get to, finish Stranger Things and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Understandable.
yeah. So the big ending, the big finale of every season is always when they go to nationals, the national competition. And the girls who have competed in the past, it's been an array of getting first place or being disappointed with fifth place or whatever the hell. One of the girls who's been my favorite from the very, very, very beginning is Nia. And every time she's competed at nationals, she's either come in way behind or not placed at all. And the big, big thing, spoiler alert, is that she won overall at nationals. Woo! First place
All right.
overall. The other two girls in the junior competition came in second and third, and the senior won first place in her tied for second place in her division. So
Nice.
that was that. The group dance won first place.
Awesome.
This was one of the coolest group dances I had seen them do in a long time.
You should send it to me on Facebook.
I still have a DVR too if you want to watch it. But it was weird. The interview with Abby after the show, I didn't learn anything I didn't know. She's very cynical about the show. She's very cynical about all the girls that left and the moms. She's just kind of a bitch. And I think she lost a lot of fans with this last season because she was just she didn't care about anything.
Guys, what are we gonna do without Dance Moms watch?
No.
It's like the
We'll have to find a new reality show and
Let me back up though. I apologize. She's going to jail?
Yeah. Were you not here for this part?
No, maybe not.
This has been in a few episodes. She's going to jail.
She committed bankruptcy fraud. So she filed bankruptcy, but she had a bunch of money hidden. And there's more details to it than that, but that's the basic gist. She had assistants keep money for her, and she's going to prison. She's there now. She went a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. I think it was towards the beginning of summer, and she has a 1 year and 3 days sentence. So she's there now, and
gotta have those extra 3 days, man.
yeah, she had
so she can rise again.
She had not gastric bypass, but where they put the band over
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So she had that, and so when she gets out of jail, there's probably going to be some big reveal of her
Losing all this weight.
transformation and not being able to go to the fake tanning bed and stuff.
So, you feel like this show is not coming back?
I don't think it is. I think it's been on for 7 seasons. I think if they reboot, or not even reboot, but redo it with a new cast, it just won't be the same. They're never going to find the chemistry that those awful moms and awful teachers had with each other.
So
and that was
here's-
what made the show great, was that they were such bitches.
So
I was going to say something else.
So here is my pitch to you guys. That at the end of this episode, we make a new Dance Moms.
I don't have any
Or Joel.
kids. What do you mean?
We pitch a new idea.
We pitch a new Dance Moms.
reality show for Joel.
Does it have
this
to be
episode.
dance?
So
I
you
have
think
thought
a
about
dance
this.
watch?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have some ideas now. Do I have to wait, or can we?
Yeah,
do
we're
it
gonna talk about it at the end.
Let it
because
brew.
Because I think a reality show about T-shirt graphic designs would be fun.
That sounds great.
Ooh.
So, anyways, let's move on to Stranger Things because this is something that we've all been watching. Obviously,
I've only seen 5. Which
so
is
you've
a
seen
lot of
5.
work.
Michael, how much have you seen?
2.
2 episodes, and you guys have seen 2.
Yeah, 2 episodes.
I've
Two on me.
watched Stranger Things 2 twice.
The whole season twice.
So he's
Go
watched
sit in the
Stranger
corner.
Things
Go sit in
4,
the corner.
Stranger Things.
I've watched it. Yeah, exactly. I've watched.
His
Stranger
things are
Things
so
4.
strange right now.
It's so strange. So I watched it twice. I want to know what you guys. I want to know what you guys think.
Wait, question: is Stranger Things an adjective or a noun,
Stranger Things. It's a adjective.
or could it be a noun? Stranger.
What do you mean? Stranger, like stranger danger. I'm a stranger.
These are my things.
No, that would be strangers with an apostrophe thing.
Stranger's things. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, you can't have two nouns
I
next
was
to each other
just
without a
making a
comma.
joke.
But it's just a single stranger and their things. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I always think of like stranger things have happened, which I'm sure is what they were thinking.
Absolutely.
I've enjoyed it so far. I mean, not a ton has happened in 2 episodes. I mean, they're kind of reestablishing a new line.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I would
new
I would say
characters.
that at the very end of the first episode, there was a part that made me, a grown man, go,
Yeah.
which I would class as interesting.
I enjoy it. I mean, of course, I'm a huge fan of the first season. I just haven't had the time to sit down
Right.
and watch, because I'm not going to watch half an episode.
No, you have to
You
watch
know what I
full
mean?
episodes. Yeah.
I'm not even probably going to watch one episode. I'm a guy that's going to sit down and watch 3 or 4.
I took
It's so much better that way.
I took so Mario Odyssey and Stranger Things came out on Friday. I picked up Mario Odyssey at 10 p.m. on Thursday and played Mario Odyssey until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Which is when Stranger Things got released.
You son of a
And
bitch. I
watched
wish
a
I
few
had your
episodes,
time.
and then I fell asleep after a few episodes, and my body is like, "Oh, we're gonna watch some Stranger Things," and it woke up, and I watched the rest of Stranger Things in that morning. So,
And then he went back and beat Mario Odyssey.
My only issue with it was like the way they reset the status quo. You know what I mean? Things are almost the same at the beginning of the season as they were at the beginning of the first season.
yeah,
And I don't really dig that, because like if I went to a fucking upside.
Yeah.
Wait, can I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can say
sorry.
Yeah, you can't say down.
Did you just use the fuck word?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say upside down?
Dude, if I went to upside down, I saw the freaking Demogorgon thing. Like my world would be the same after that.
I think I'm going to start a fan theory that Stranger Things is the 1980s prequel to Lost.
But is it?
Oh, stop it.
But if you think about Lost, is it a prequel or is it a midquel?
Oh, sidequel.
Lost has a time frame of thousands of years. So
That is very true.
I believe calling it a midquel is just a misnomer and going to confuse people.
Stranger Things is going to send them into the bunker.
Thanks for visiting us, Ben Stein.
That's a horrible Ben Stein impression. I bet I can do better. Bueller.
It's almost like that theme of stranger in a strange place.
Yes.
For Will, and it's more significant whenever the strange place is home. Mm-hmm. Like he's back, but and we see that in the physical scene. Whenever he's getting like in the doctor's office, getting everything done, he's back. He's here, but he's not back. Things aren't the same.
There's something else we haven't talked about. I think not Rob Reiner. Good. Well, I think Rob Reiner's a funny guy. Good.
Hysterical.
Moving on. What's his name? Paul Reiser is actually really great.
He's fantastic, and so is Sean Astin.
Oh my God, Sean Astin is so good. Like I'm watching Sean Astin on the thing, and I'm like he's so obviously he's there. I think because of Goonies and stuff. But I'm like, this guy is a movie star. He I'm like, how many years did he spend in New Zealand filming Lord of the Rings, and he is here doing this? I'm like,
4.5.
thank you.
That's the answer.
Thank you. 4.5.
Okay, so to finish this
thinking
up before
12.
we jump into 6 Degrees, I want to go around the table and I want you guys to let me know which character you connect with the most.
Does the Demogorgon count?
Yeah, it could. You have to explain yourself.
I'm a Dustin.
You're a Dustin? Michael?
It's kind of a back and forth between Mike and Will.
Yeah.
For me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's Michael's brother's name?
Jonathan?
Yeah, probably him.
Wait, no, wait. You mean Will's brother. Mike has a sister named
Yeah,
Sarah.
I'm sorry, Will's brother. Yeah, the guy that looks like Michael Jackson in the late '90s.
Yeah.
Probably him.
Chief Hopper.
Oh,
That
I
is
should have said
my
that.
number one.
I was also going to say Jonathan too.
Really?
For mine. I definitely...
And I don't know why, because I don't have any younger siblings, but there's something about his character.
Yeah, he.
So Joel, I think you have 6 degrees for us, right?
That is correct. If I can get my phone to open.
So while you get your phone ready to go, I'll do the
Rules.
The rules of 6 degrees of separation. You need to know the name of the actor. You need to know the name of the movie. We can use TV, but we cannot use big shows like 30 Rock or SNL because everybody has a tendency of being in those shows. All right, what we got?
So I have a little theme here since it's the week of Halloween, and you do not have to use all women, but I did go from Scream Queen to Scream Queen.
Ooh.
So I would like you to connect Jamie Lee Curtis with Sissy Spacek. And I'm going to give you 4 minutes.
And while we discuss this, we'll take a brief word from our sponsor. All right.
Okay, here we go. Oh, is somebody starting the clock? I got it.
Hey guys, this is your humble host Charles, just checking in to see how things are going. How heavy was your candy haul from trick-or-treating? I got at least 5 pounds of candy, and I didn't even go out this year. A couple super quick things before we get back to the show. 1, we have launched our new merch store. Link to that is in the description of this episode. I'll be updating the store through the week, adding a few different designs, but it's up, and you can get something random clothes and mugs and pillowcases, including one of my favorite designs. It's a Stranger Things design. That's probably my favorite shirt that I have at the moment. And number 2, our episode of Chasing the Mind is out. It's great. And if you haven't checked out Angela and Stephanie's podcast yet, do it. They're in my top 5 indie podcasts, and it's something that I listen to each week. If you're new to the show, welcome. How are you? Do you need a cup of coffee or anything? If you're liking it so far, please consider subscribing to the show. We release this show every Wednesday morning, rain or shine. If you're a returning listener, you know the deal. You are what keeps us going. The best ways to support the show are to share the show with your friends who think you might like it. Usually I recommend just doing it in person. You can give us a review on iTunes or pick something up off the merch store. But in the end, just listening to the show is awesome, and I thank you guys so much for doing just that. And I thank you so much for coming back. As always, guys, I love you.
I'm Mickey, and with me is Brandon.
Hey, how you doing?
And Alberto.
Hello.
And together we are
The Three Friends.
And we have a show called The Three Friends Go Criterion, in which we talk about some of the finest films in cinema history, and we do a lot of screwing around.
Yeah, a lot of grab-assing on this show.
Sure do.
Mm-hmm. Come here, Brandon. Give me some of that ass.
Check us out at thethreefriends.com. Subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and we love you.
And
Okay.
folks, we've got an answer for Joel.
Got an answer for Joel.
Yes. Who would like to take? Well, you guys came up with a handful of them. This one wasn't a very hard
Well,
one.
one we nailed out pretty quick, and then we decided to try and do one with all women, and that is a very hard game.
Nick got it, so Nick...
Oh, no, I don't know what the beginning was.
Is it?
We started with Jamie Lee Curtis in...
No. I think we started with Sissy Spacek.
Oh.
Going, Sissy Spacek was
Christopher Walken,
was-
Blast in the Past.
Okay, she was in Blast from the Past with Christopher Walken, which is actually a funny movie for both of those people. Christopher Walken was in
Pulp Fiction
with Bruce Willis. They even shared a scene, although it was a young Bruce Willis.
And then he shared a scene with Jamie Lee Curtis.
No.
Bruce Willis was in The Expendables with Expendables 3 with Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, Expendables 2 with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I am like really mixing my
Expendables 1 and
actors
2 with
today.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was
and
thinking
then
of
Arnold
The Fugitive.
Schwarzenegger was in True Lies with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep.
There you go.
Right, there it is.
Jake. And there was another one you came up with that had hairspray in it, but I can't.
Well, I was
remember.
going.
John Travolta.
John
John
Travolta
Travolta.
in that way, but
Carrie.
we didn't connect it all the way. But we got.
Oh
close.
yeah, because Sissy Spacek and John Travolta were both in Carrie.
No, you would have gotten it because John Travolta was in Carrie with Sissy Spacek. John Travolta was also in Hairspray with Chris Walken, who was in Blast from the Past with Sissy Spacek.
That's fair.
So that was actually only 3 degrees.
John Travolta was also in Pulp Fiction with
Oh shit, we could have just done that.
with Christopher Walken.
Yeah, but
wow.
Hairspray's more fun. 'cause
Yeah,
he's
Hairspray's
a
more
woman.
fun.
I can't
Hairspray's
believe I didn't
always
think
more
about that,
fun.
but yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. John Travolta was in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I mean, as far as cheating things go, you can throw a lot of Tarantino movies in. There's a lot of people.
Mine was Jamie Lee Curtis was in Fish Called Wanda with John Cleese.
Yes. Oh, that's a good way to go.
Who John
Let's
Cleese?
hold.
John Cleese was in Rat Race
Rat Race is another
with
good movie.
Breckenmeyer, who was in Clueless with Alicia Silverstone, who was in Blast from the Past with Sissy Spacek.
Yay! We were trying to get a way to get Clueless in there. That's awesome. You did that.
Worked it in there.
Yeah.
You know that.
All right. So Nick what is your story, man?
Scary story time.
Scary,
All right.
So-
spooky, scary story.
This is the final week of the Spooky Scary Month.
Spooky, scary story.
Yeah.
So is this a real story?
Yes, it is a real
Something that
story.
happened to you?
love these.
Yes.
Okay.
And I hope it holds up to like, because we're this day after Halloween that we're coming out, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I hope it comes out holds up to like the Halloween thing. So I went to high school in Mobile, Alabama, and our high school is haunted, much like a lot of the things in Alabama tend to be because of anything that you want to talk about, Confederacy soldiers, anything like that. A lot of haunted places in the area. So. The history, though, before the campus was a high school, it was a cabbage farm that was owned by a farmer named Carlin. And his daughter fell in love with one of his farmhands. This is Alabama just after the Civil War. I think we all know what that means.
Okay.
And so he and other members of the community had this man killed. And so she ended up hanging herself in the family barn. Her name was Sarah. And so her ghost is said to haunt the high school, particularly the auditorium building of the high school, which is the same foundation of the barn.
They always
She
like the
killed
theaters.
herself.
You know, all ghosts hang out in the theater.
So
free entertainment.
Yep.
So that's the history. So her ghost is there, and so my story is that I was in a production in high school, and it was late. It was like 11:30, something like that. And people always talk about weird things that happen, things fall down, noises you make, but it never, until you see it, you really don't think about it. And so we're there, and me and the cast are all sitting in the house, getting our notes from the director who's sitting at like the foot of the stage. And in the middle of this, where the stage is, there's the back wall, and there's a runner that covers the back wall because there's coincidentally barn doors that open up into the workshop where you do the set and you have a loading door and everything.
It's
like
nice
that.
that it's close to.
So it's directly upstaged on the back wall, and that's what we're looking at. And so as he's giving notes, a light comes on in the workshop that we can see underneath the door. And everybody kind of like looks at each other, makes sure like, we're not going crazy. Everybody sees the same thing. And then we see the shadow of feet move away from what would be the light switch underneath the door. And we're the only people in this building. There's like maybe 10 of us total. And nobody else, like we build our own sets. Nobody else comes in here. If something's going on, they shouldn't be in here anyway. And so we kind of stop, and I and my buddy go up on stage to kind of investigate this. And we get about 10 feet from the door when we hear like a pounding, like a knock, just one solid, just, and the lights go out. And there's also only one light switch here. And so we get up to the door and pull the chain. It opens, and we don't see anything. And the really creepy part is that the one light switch for the whole thing, I go to reach out, and it's still in the on position. And I have to turn it off and turn it back on, and the lights come on. And so there's nothing. It's like a 20 by 20 foot room. There's nobody in there. The doors are all locked. Nothing's missing. But definitely did see somebody there, or at least the shadow of somebody there. And yeah, it was kind of weird. Like everybody left that night really like, we're not going to talk about it kind of thing. You know what I mean? It was really one of those moments of like, okay, that happened. Let's all go home.
Is this the first time this story's been told publicly?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. Over the internets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything ever happen after that? Like
No.
Just a couple possessions, the huge.
here and there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not a big, like I said, I'm a cynic for most things. I'm not a big believer in the paranormal anyway.
Okay.
And so I take that as being like, it could have been a squirrel, it could have been,
The foot, the feet,
anything. But
the
it
foot.
was very interesting that the lights would cut on by themselves, cut off in the on position, and then cut right back on whenever I
That's
touched
pretty
them.
good, dude. That's pretty
So-
creepy.
That's
a good story.
I love that.
It is weird. I just leave it at that. I don't understand it. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
try
yeah.
to understand it
Leave it
because
to your imagination. 'cause
then
that's
it's gonna
more
hurt
fun.
me. But,
Yeah.
But
Try
I
to
just,
figure it out, and it's like,
It's definitely one of those things that it was like, it happened, and it's like, okay, well, we're leaving right now. We're just going.
yeah.
All right, you've got some horror movie trivia apparently for us.
Trivia.
Just to go with this, I had a couple questions for you.
Horror trivia.
These are pretty easy. What character face is used as the mask for Michael Myers? Scotty.
Bill Shatner. William Shatner.
The character.
Oh, the Kirk. Captain Kirk.
That would be correct.
And I believe it's turned inside
What?
out.
It's not turned inside out. It's just spray painted white.
Oh, that's it. That is
Yes.
it. Yeah.
So, have you guys watched Baby Driver yet?
No. I want to.
There's a bit in the movie where one of the guys is asked to get a bunch of Mike Myers masks, and they actually get Mike Myers, Austin Powers masks instead.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So yes, when you see Halloween, all those masks, those are all William Shatner masks.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was cheap. They had it at the store.
What line from Friday the 13th inspired the creepy music? Anybody know?
I don't know.
I
don't
honestly
know this
don't
one.
know this one. Wow.
It's actually the answer is killer, mommy, killer. So
Oh.
So when you hear chi 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 pow pow pow, that is not accurate. It's ki 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 ma ma ma.
Interesting.
He's very passionate about
Because
this.
even in the Music Man, at one point they go like, ch 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 ch. He's the music, whatever. And I always want to go ch 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 ch.
So remember that ki 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 ma ma ma. Okay. Next up, what kind of dog is Cujo? Yeah,
So Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard is correct.
Is that from Cujo and the Two Strings?
Cujo the movie.
Cujo and the Two Bones.
Did you watch Kubo and the Two Strings?
The Stephen King
It's so
children's
good.
novel.
It is.
It's a kid's story.
It's Stephen King's bedtime story for his children. Cujo and the Two Bones.
One of Dee Wallace's most fantastic performances. Dee Wallace, of course, was the mother in E.T. Most of you would know her from.
Oh, yes.
Cujo. If horror movies got nominated for Oscars, she would have won. But anyway. Last question I got. Janet Leigh, the old school scream queen from Psycho, her daughter grew up to be one as well. Can you name who her daughter is? She's a scream queen. Famous.
Was she in the remake? Because she's done
No.
other stuff too. Okay. Because I was like, she does have short hair. But
Very famous scream queen. We've talked about her today.
Is it Jamie Lee Curtis?
It is Jamie
It
Lee
is?
Curtis. Yes.
Wait,
Jamie Lee Curtis's mother is Janet Leigh from Psycho. Yes.
No way.
Isn't her dad famous too? Where's her dad?
I don't know.
Oh, shoot.
Tony Curtis.
Cowboy
Yeah.
Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
Cowboy Curtis.
I heard. That
I
little
should
piece
know
of
that.
trivia before.
I don't know. I know who her father is, but I don't know.
That's nice. That's fair. That's fair. Dang it! I knew her mom was famous. I forgot which one it was.
So that's what I had. So that was fun. Here's the
Neat.
whole thing I had.
Do you guys want to make a movie or a TV show? I think I still want to make a Dance Mom sequel.
Dance Mom sequel. See, mine was going to be where it's embarrassed daughters being dragged to rehearsal, where the moms are like, "You sit in the corner and watch us dance. We're the dancing moms."
Dancing moms.
And the
Dancing
teenagers,
moms,
the teen,
yeah.
you know, like the preteen or whatever, the I don't know, 13, 14-year-old girls, like sitting in the corner, like, can we go now? I'm tired of rolling my eyes and texting all.
That's
for the
kind
last
of what
hour.
it is already, except instead of them dancing, they're just yelling at each other.
So
why don't
let's switch it. Yeah.
Why don't we switch things up? Why don't the girls realize that they're really into video production, so they steal all the equipment from the video guys, and so it's a bunch of like electricians and tech nerds being forced to dance.
Okay. Let's or
I think that's the first time you pulled that one.
I think so. What if it was the dads?
Who you never see on the show. So this would be great.
Yeah.
So, but like, would there be any drama? That's the question. I don't know.
And the guys would probably be like, "Yeah, did you watch the game?" Nope, had dance rehearsal.
I really think that they should try to find dads who are really, really into dance and just like hyper, like just like, yeah, you did that releve really good.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah, you fucking crushed that relevant.
If my girls were that age, that's what I would be the one doing that.
Yeah.
Did you fucking see that plie, guys?
I swear, I feel like I saw a movie where Zach Galifianakis played like a dance dad or something. Or
There's a
princess.
video going around the internet you may have seen where Tom Hanks does the Toddlers and Tiaras. Have you seen that?
Oh no! I know.
yeah.
Well, you got to watch that. He goes on Toddlers and Tiaras and is the epitome of a terrible parent.
Was it like an SNL bit or
No,
was it just
I
like
think
for
they
funsies?
just
Maybe
put
it was
it on the
Funny and
internet.
Die or something.
Yeah.
I think it was Fallon, Jimmy Fallon or something.
Was it
like
Jimmy
that.
Fallon? Yeah, I don't know.
Have you guys did the David Pumpkins special come out?
I haven't watched it yet.
It
I
has
haven't
gotten
DVR'd.
the worst reviews. But it's understandable because
David Pumpkins.
yeah,
it
why
was
would
kind
you
of
make a
S.
third?
Pumpkins.
Yeah, why would you? I mean, I've got a lot of questions. Why they think that they should spend a lot of money making
I don't
David
know.
Pumpkins?
Because it's Tom Hanks and
Like
it's
the
Halloween.
first, like I love the sketch. It's classic
Yeah.
by now, I guess. But it wasn't even really that funny.
it was good for a sketch.
hilarious. One time.
Yes.
Any questions? Yes, several.
Well, no. See, I think when it comes to comedy writing, especially for sketch comedy, there are rules. There are serialized. There's good for serialized, and there's good that's for funny for one time.
Yeah.
And when you make the mistake of crossing those two, that's where you hit problems.
Yeah.
I think the funniest part of David S. Pumpkins was that there was so many questions that will never get answered, and then if you just answer them all, then it's like, I'm good.
It was kind of like when I very, very first heard Wayne's World was going to be a movie, I'm like, how are they going to make that a movie? And then it turned out to be one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yes.
Or funniest. And then I went, oh, Coneheads, that'll be such a cool movie. I love that. And then I was like, why did they make this? You know,
Yes.
so
Let's get back to Dance Dads.
Or is it Dancing Dads? I mean, are we gonna
call
have
it? Do we call it Dance Dads? I think that's a little bit too on the nose. I think it should just be Dance Moms 2, Dance Dads.
Revenge of the Dads. Dance. Well, I like. Let's see. Dance Moms. What if we get one with Dance Dads? We at least get part of the audience to be like, oh, I see what they're doing there. It's going to be about the dads.
Dance
if you
Moms
change it
2,
completely,
the
like
dads?
Shimmy Dads or something.
ballet dads or
Okay, but
Ballet
I think
dads?
if you move too far
jazz
away,
dads?
if you move too,
Jazz Dads.
oh my god,
Jazz Dads sounds like it might be gay porn.
yeah, because you just. They just changed that A to an I, and you got yourself a Jizz Dads. And
how about Dance Moms, etc.?
ooh, Dance Moms Nights.
Oh my god, I was about to say that. Dance Moms Nights.
No, Baywatch Night.
There was a
Court.
show. No, there is.
Baywatch Night Court.
SVU.
There is.
I just because they already had David Hasselhoff. You're just one voiceover.
There is a show where what is it called? Where it's a boat and it's like
The
it's
Love
like
Boat.
No. It's like Knight Rider, but it's a boat, and I can't remember what show it was. It was only
Not Rider.
probably.
nautical writer.
Like how many knots are they going? Yacht Rider's
Sailor,
not bad.
Night Floater.
Night
Jesus.
Floater.
What was
Night
that
Floater.
show?
That sounds like a gay porn.
I've never even heard of that.
Night Floater is when you don't
this
remember
up.
flushing and you wake up the next morning you're like, ah, crap.
Right.
Literally.
You
More
guys,
ways of
while,
blood.
while I look up the show, you guys make a decision on what the show's called.
Okay, so we got Dance Moms.
So we're talking about the show that dads are like
Dance Moms and Friends.
Ooh, Dance Moms.
dance husbands.
Dance Husbands.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, actually, I like the idea of dance husbands. Oh, and there's no dancing at all. It's all about finding husbands for all the dance
Now,
moms.
what about if it's still the Dance Moms, but instead of taking their daughters to class, they're taking their husbands
To class?
So
Yes.
like a salsa class. So they're like,
bitching-
honey, let's
so
dance.
they're bitching to
Yes.
each other amongst the moms, and the dads are like the daughters, like we just want to dance. All we want to do is compete. and blah,
No,
blah, blah."
okay. I like the
They learn
it's
all those
the
ballroom
same
stuff.
it's the same moms, right? But they're taking their husbands to therapy. And it's all their therapy sessions where they're
Therapy husband.
Yeah,
Dance
they're-
Moms (therapy).
Yeah.
Dance,
yeah. Oh man, that's good. That's
Right.
good.
I think this is good,
Dance
guys.
moms (therapy), and not that they're getting therapy done on their
colon.
colon.
Colon therapy.
The word colon.
I have a suggestion for you. Colon therapy. Go with me on this one. It's colon therapy. Doc, I'm leaving.
That's gonna be the name. It could be like you go through the therapy, but you also go through like colon therapy too.
Like a cleanse.
I mean,
Like
you
it's
know,
a cleanse, it's enemas.
I think the fact that so many of these dance moms, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joel, but some of them can really be tight asses, so maybe they do need some colon therapy.
I wouldn't
Here's
be
something
surprised.
interesting. You know, we've all heard the phrase anal retentive. You know what the opposite is? Anal expressive. Just a little fun fact for you.
All
I've
right.
got
I hope that
I've got
nobody-
an anal expressant right now.
I hope nobody in my life ever describes me as anal expressive.
I mean,
I mean, he's so.
Yeah, he just
shows that butthole, man.
I think that's Freud. I could be wrong.
was just about to.
oh my
You didn't even
god.
let him say his favorite. What's your favorite word descriptor of the little of the
Dirt butt.
turd button?
No, it's not my favorite. It might be now.
Your cheeks are getting
But
rosy. It's pretty much your favorite.
It was pretty. I mean, just because it came out of nowhere, and it's just so vividly describes.
Absolutely.
While Nick is here, I would love to do a couple impressions because Nick does impressions, and
Yes.
we cannot end the show without hearing Nick do a few things.
Yeah.
If it's okay with you, we have kind of what we did with Scotty last week with the Pulp Fiction. We're going to do a little scene here.
Okay.
It's going to be a cold read.
Okay.
We have a scene from Back to the Future. If you wouldn't mind being Jeff Bridges
Yes, please.
Yeah.
as George,
Okay.
and I will be Tom Hanks as Marty.
Okay.
Okay?
So
So you're going to start right
Wait,
here.
gentlemen, I have a question for the rest of us. Should we stay quiet so that this could eventually turn into a animated bit to
I
put
think
somewhere, or are
laughing
we allowed to giggle?
where we
Because
should
I'm
be,
going
yeah,
to giggle.
We're going to giggle.
So,
Okay, good.
so you're telling me that that we have cast Jeff Bridges in
As
the
George McFly.
remake Back to the Future as George McFly.
Or maybe this is an audition reading that eventually didn't lead to.
Oh,
a
his
gig.
audition. Okay, yeah.
Like, you know.
All right. I still don't understand how I'm supposed to go to the dance with her if she's already going to the dance with you.
Because, George, she wants to go to the dance with you. She just doesn't know it yet. That's why we got to show her that you, George McFly, are a fighter. You're somebody who's going to stand up for yourself. Someone who's going to protect her.
Yeah, but I never picked a fight in my entire life, man.
You're not going to be picking a fight, Dad. Daddy-o, you're coming to her rescue, right? Okay, let's go over the plan again. 8:55. Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be at the dance.
Right. And where am I going to be?
You're going to be in the car with her.
Right. Okay. So right around 9 o'clock, she's going to get very angry with me.
Why is she going to get angry with you?
Well, because, George, nice girls get angry when guys take advantage of them.
Oh, you mean you're going to touch her on her?
No, George. Look. It's just an act, right? Okay. So 9 o'clock, you're strolling through the parking lot. You see us struggling. You walk up. You open the door, and you say your line, George.
Oh, hey, you, get your damn hands off her. Do you really think I ought to swear?
Yes, definitely. God damn it, George, swear. Okay, so now you come up. You punch me in the stomach. I'm out for the count, right? And Lorraine and you live happily ever after.
Well, you make it sound so easy. I wish I wasn't so scared.
George, there's nothing to be scared of. All it takes is a little self-confidence, you know. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Thank you.
Very nice indeed.
Damn.
That was fun.
That was
This is a good concept.
All right.
Right?
So we got to get out of here. We gotta get going. Do you want to plug your show?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Once the Musical at Midtown Arts Center in Fort Collins, and it runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, Sunday matinees. Dinner's included with the price because it is a dinner theater, and we run until November the 11th.
Nice.
So go on the website. I believe it's midtownarts.com or Midtown Arts Center.
I think it's midtownartscenter.com.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know the ticket price off the top of my head, but all the information there, the box office numbers there. Come see the show, man. It's a great, fantastic show.
Set in Dublin.
I, for one, am very much looking forward to seeing it.
Well, thank you.
I'm also looking forward to it.
It's finger
You know
licking
what?
good.
This actually may be the first show that I've actually seen in a while.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
This is a good one. It's very low key. You know, it's a great show. It's like we have a good energy to it, but it's not your standard Broadway.
It's very,
kind of
very
musical.
trickster god.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Low key.
Oh, Loki, trickster god.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Charles,
else
are you
is
proud of
kicking
yourself?
I am so proud of myself. And as always, my
Thor
name is
Ragnarok.
Charles.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to go see Thor this weekend.
Oh, is it out this weekend?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Well, we're going to go do that. But we'll leave you now.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Charles Joseph Kelly.
And I'm Michael C. Macbeth.
I'm Coco host Scotty Schaefer.
Joel at it again.
It's not funny anymore.
You're wrong.
It tickles me.
You're wrong.
I think it's great.
I think you're a terrible human being.
Then why are you smiling at me?
I'm not
Because he's also a
This is just
lady.
my
Mixed
face.
signals.
It's my creepy resting face, is what I call it.
Goodbye.
And once
you,
again,
Nick.
this is our guest host Nick. Thank you so much for swinging on by.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
And you guys have yourselves a wonderful week.
Ta-ta. We'll see you later. Happy Halloween. Ooh.